Hello, I'm Sarah, otherwise known as Yarnmugs on Instagram and Ravelry. Welcome to my 26th podcast, where I chat about my knitting, crochet, sewing, and often the book that I've recently read. Hope you're all okay. For those that have been here before, thank you for returning, and for any new viewers, thank you for giving me a try. Thank you for all your messages after the previous podcast. It's always lovely chatting with you. It's been a while since my last podcast. I think I uploaded it in July, but I actually filmed it in June. So and now today is the 29th, I think. Yeah, 29th of August. It's Bank Holiday Monday. And since my last podcast, I've started a new job and I'm working full time. So yeah, I have found it hard to find a bit of time to film, but also it's been so incredibly hot, and I film here in my conservatory and it's a really hot room. I've got the doors open at the moment, and there is a train track and a motorway beyond the fence, so it might be a bit noisy, but it's so humid I need to have some air. So let's talk about what I've been making since the last podcast. I think we'll focus on what I'm wearing first of all. This is a hack of the Lotta dress by Tilly and the Buttons, and what I've done, I've used the Lotta bodice with the Hinterland skirt and pockets. I'll stand up and show you. So it's a really simple bodice with no bust darts and grown on sleeves. And the Hinterland skirt is my favourite skirt that I attach to most of my dresses. And it has pockets. And it's in a beautiful floral, very lightweight cotton. Other dresses I've made have made in poplin, but this is much lighter. I've also added shop bought bias binding on the inside, and I'm really pleased. I feel like every dress I make, or anything new you make, it's your favourite thing, but yeah, I'm really happy with this. It's such a simple, it can be made in a morning, and the fabric was from a local haberdashery where I work, near where I work, as I got vouchers for my 50th birthday last year. So this is pink floral on navy, and I bought 2.5 metres for £18.75. So I've still got fabric left. So yeah, that's a really good buy and a really lovely make. Yes, I'm really happy with it. So similarly to my birthday dress that you saw in the last podcast, it's the same. So the grown on, it's such an easy make. So that's the first thing I made. Oh, I'm having a bit of a hot. Let's have a little drink. So then after I made that, I've talked to you before on previous podcasts about when I've only had a small amount of fabric and I've turned them into tops which have been too short. And I had a similar situation, but I've made them into a wearable top. So right at the beginning, when I first started sewing, let me just see if I can find, yeah, I bought this as a metre of fabric for £11, and it's called Cotton Dobby, and I've got it in 2 different colours. So this is in the grey, and it's got like a thread of colour going through. I've got it in the blue as well. And it's a really lovely, again, lightweight, feels like chambray. They are quite boxy, but again, it's this top, so it's the Lotta bodice. So for instance, in the navy, I've put the bias binding on the outside. And with the grey, I've put the bias binding on the inside. And I'm really pleased with them. It's just a really simple top that I can wear just over jeans. I'll just stand up again. So again, it's on my waist. But in my new job where I can work from home, it feels like it's, you know, a nice smart top for when I'm attending meetings online, but it's really nice and cool as well, and lovely to wear, like I say, with jeans. So that ended up being a really successful 2 tops made out of 1 metre each from fabric that I'd had right back in the beginning. So I bought that fabric in April 2020. So yeah, nice to use it, and I used it all up. You can see that I've just overlocked the bottom and then sewed it up. So I've tried to, you know, make the most of every bit of fabric, seeing as there was only a small amount. I also made another dress, and I think I said last time before starting my new job I wanted to make a few new dresses for work. This is a funny dress from my point of view, I'll tell you in a minute. But so I hope this doesn't make your eyes go funny. It's navy with white spots, and again I've used that same shop bought bias binding for inside. It gives such a lovely finish. I have made dresses with facings before, but I really love this. It's really neat, nothing puckers. This is the Rosa dress. You can see here there are bust darts, and the same at the back. There's some darts here, and again with the Hinterland skirt and pockets and Hinterland sleeves. Yeah, I'm really happy with this dress, but the funny thing about it is, so I'm a nurse, and in my current job, no, going back in time, years ago when I worked in the hospital, the matrons wore dresses like this, and now I've had a promotion, so I'm in a leadership role wearing a dress that reminds me of working in the hospital as a matron. So it feels a bit formal. But this is more, I think it is cotton poplin, navy blue, white spots, 2.5 metres for £21. And I tend to make dresses just sort of either on my knee or just below my knee. So yeah, I'm really pleased with the make, but it's just I do feel funny wearing it because it makes me feel like I'm back in the hospital. Okay, so that's my sewing. What shall I show you next? Oh, I'm going to show you some jumpers. Now these have been jumpers that have been on my needles for a long time. I showed you an almost finished Ranunculus last time, and I've now completely finished it. And this was made out of recycled denim, and I just had, I can't remember how many balls I used in the end. Was it 3 balls? And I just used it all up, so I've made kind of 3/4 length, not even 3/4, I think it's almost on my elbow length sleeve, and it's quite short, but again over a dress. It's nice, it is just at my waist, or with jeans. So yeah, really pleased with that. Beautiful pattern, and I definitely would make more. So nice to have that finished. And then another one that I've had on the hook, or needles rather, for ages, that I was really not happy with last time. I've now finished it. So I've made the V back, I'm wearing the V at the front, the V neck sweater. Last time I showed you, before I'd blocked it, that it felt like it was too big. So where it creates this V, it felt like it was far too much fabric. But since I've finished it and blocked it and tried not to kind of overstretch it, I'll show you it on actually, I'm quite pleased with it. I decided to go with short sleeves because, like I say, I just thought I'm not going to put lots of effort into a long sleeve when I don't even know if I like it. And where I've sort of blocked it, I think I might have put a peg in that when I was putting it on the line. I need to put that out a bit. This is far too hot to be wearing a jumper, but just to show you, it doesn't feel as big as when I showed you last time. So you can see the V. I'll show you from there. It just feels like it fits a bit better. It is loose, and it is longer at the front than it is at the back. And I'm pleased with the sleeve length. Yeah, so overall I'm happy that it's finished, and I think in the winter I could wear it with long sleeve, a jersey top underneath, and wear it over jeans. Oh, let's get that off, it's so hot. I've talked about the yarn I used previously, but just as a reminder, the purple was really beautiful yarn from, let me get the Mint Bee yarn. She's no longer dyeing. This was in her Beeluscious base, 80% superwash merino, 10% nylon, 10% cashmere, and this is a 4-ply yarn. So that's the purple, and then the neon-y stripes was from Stranded Dyeworks in her Wash Your Face colourway, and this is superwash blue face Leicester and nylon, and this was dyed raising money for NHS, so that's why I bought that. Initially I was thinking, oh, I don't really like these together, but I've got used to it. It's fine. And it's a really straightforward make, but I don't know if I'd make another one. I really like the V. I wouldn't wear the V at the back. That was a suggestion. Someone said to me, wear it the other way around, and maybe I would, because I do like a round neck, and then the longer bit would be covering your bum, so maybe that would look better. And then I don't know if I said last time as well, I crocheted a few extra rows at the bottom to sort of straighten out a curling hem. You can see there sort of, you know, where the front is a bit longer. But overall I'm just pleased it's done. It only has a short little rib, the same as the hem rib. And in total, yarn wise, I had one of Stranded, and I used nearly all of that up, and the rest has gone into a little blanket. And the Mint Bee I had 2 of, but I've still got 60 grams left, so you know, I've not used much yarn, and yet I've got this massive yardage out of it. So yeah, it's lovely and soft. I've also washed that in the machine, like I do, on 30. I think I was washing it thinking, oh, even if it shrinks a bit, that wouldn't be a bad thing, but it didn't really shrink at all, and I just sort of moulded it into shape when I was blocking it. Ooh, hot. So it feels really nice to have those 2 things finished. Another thing I've really been doing since my last podcast is I've had a big sort out of all my yarn, and I found any bits of yarn that I had left over from projects, and I've decided to use them. And also I've done a bit of a mend as well. I'll just show you this jumper. You might remember this is from quite a while ago now. I made the Rosary jumper sweater from this beautiful travel knitter yarn, and I made it too short. I was not happy with where the hem ended, so I had some yarn left, and I've just picked up stitches, you are going to be able to see from here, and I carried on the rib a bit longer. So I don't really mind that you can see the repair, because it was quite difficult to make sure I sort of picked up at the right point. And I think I picked up in knit stitch. I didn't pick up knit 1, purl 1. So I picked up all in knit, and that's probably why there's a bit of a ridge. And I'll just show you this, even though it's really hot, but I'm much happier with it, because it just, especially with jeans, when I wore it last, I just felt a bit self-conscious that it was not even really on my waist. And now I'll show you. So before, it would have been up here, which just felt a bit too short. It's fine with a dress, but on jeans it was higher than my waist. But now when I'm wearing jeans, it just fits just a bit longer. And then I was able to use, I think I still had about 50 grams think I had maybe a bit more, 50. I think I had about 65 grams left, and I've been left with 25. So again, it's another really nice way of making sure I've used up the yarn, and I'll now more likely wear this jumper more often. But isn't it lovely, that blue? So yeah, I can't wait for wearing that when it's colder. And I remember thinking at the time that was a real labour of love. It was from a vintage pattern, it was pieced, and I'd never made a sweater pieced before. But yeah, I'm going to love wearing that. Also, I found some leftover sock yarn, and I decided to get them made into socks as well. I think last Christmas I made a pair of socks for a friend, and it was out of West Yorkshire Spinners yarn, and this is what was left. So I decided to do toe up so that I could make sure I used every little bit of the yarn. And I've made these fairly kind of shorty, they've got quite a nice length rib on it. You can see they're blocked lovely up now. I won't put them on the blockers. So they're not the same, they are different because I just split the yarn, what I had left. But really happy with them. So yeah, toe up and fish lips, kiss heel, few rounds for the leg before I went into the rib, and then it's just a 1x1 rib with Jenny's stretchy bind off at the top. So really pleased with them, and a great way of making sure I've used all of it up. I think in the end they might only have been 22 grams a sock, so that's less than 50 grams. I am a size 5. Let me see if I wrote that down. Yeah, I just did 12 rows of the leg, you know, once you've done the heel, 12 rows and then into the cuff. So yeah, really pleased with those. I also used up this Zauberball. I don't know if you remember, I made these for a friend last time, and I had again a little bit less, and again they're not the same. So these are more like trainer socks. In fact, let's just see how many rows of leg I did for that. 25. So I did 10 leg rows for that. But they're really cute, and I'm really happy with those. Exactly the same, toe up, fish lips, kiss heel, 1x1 rib, Jenny stretchy bind off. And again, it just makes you feel that you've used every little bit of the yarn. Really lovely. I really like that yarn. I've seen this yarn on other podcasts put into sweaters, for stripes, because you get such a variegated look. Yeah, really lovely. So yeah, I like that yarn. I won that yarn. So yeah, another pair of socks. Also a while ago I'd made a pair of socks out of this West Yorkshire Spinners blue tip yarn. Now, I've only made one of these, so I haven't blocked them, so I'm just going to put one here to show you. So again, this was the same, toe up, fish lips, kiss heel, but when I did my leg, I couldn't really judge how much yarn, whether I was close to running out. So I did, let me just see how many rows of the leg I did for that. I think it was the same. I think I did, oh no, here we are, the leg. Yeah, I did 10 rows of leg, and the ball must have looked so small. I must have thought, right, better get on with the rib, but in fact that rib is really long. I don't know if this is interesting, knowing how many rows I've done, but let me see. I've done 25 rows of ribs. That's a really big rib. But in fact, ribbed socks are really comfortable to wear, aren't they? So I thought it doesn't really matter. And they end up being, I think they were longer. Are they long? Yeah, they were the longest pair. But this is what the ball looks like at the beginning before you've made it. So isn't it amazing, out of this small ball you can get a lovely, lovely sock. So all that's left on my needles at the moment is to make my second blue tip sock. And I've shown you these before. These were the Mount Airy socks. You can't really see here, but there is it's a lovely pattern, but it's always hard to tell. Let me get that right. Yeah, it's really hard to tell, but there's a lovely texture. So I did the same. I weighed this sock, wound off the yarn I need so I can make another one exactly the same, and then the rest has gone into a blanket that I'm making. So yeah, at the moment I've got a sock each to make, and the only other things I've got on the needles at the minute, or the hooks, is blankets. I've got 3 blankets on the go, and they are all crochet blankets. So I'll show you one of them now, mainly because it's the only one I've been working on. But just to go back to that using up all the yarn, that makes me feel really nice. I've used it all up, I haven't got any left, and anything left is going into a blanket, which maybe I'll show you that now actually. Yeah, let's do that. So yeah, I've got those 2 socks, this blanket, and then 3 other blankets. But this blanket here is a very long-term project. I have shown you this before, but a while ago, and this is using all of my sock yarn or fingering weight yarn from leftover projects. So it's all wool, no acrylic. Isn't it lovely? Don't know if it's easy. Oh, that's it, that's better like that, isn't it? And again, I'm pretty random with where I'm putting things. And the plan was, when I was using up some of my leftovers, is just to make this complete, make it a square or an oblong. Yeah, there's a bit of stranded dye work. I like seeing how it comes out in crochet as well as knitting. So if I stand up maybe and show you how big it is. So you can see it's not a blanket yet. This will go on for years and years, but I'm really happy with it. And I think what I'll do now, rather than starting an edge and working all the way around, I can just work on one edge, and that will make it feel fairly complete. What is it? 3, 6, 9, about 10 squares down. Yeah, it's funny how over the time as well, you know, I tend to use lots of blues and greens and some random bits of brighter colours. But yeah, I was able to really get through a lot of my leftovers, and I've hardly got any leftovers now. There's not many, only a few, you can't really see, but there's only a few little balls and some kind of bigger, but this is not big enough to make a pair of socks. So I can add them to it over time. This is a lovely bag from Bumble Stitches. I don't know if she still sews bags, but I remember this was when she first sort of opened a little shop. So yeah, this is one of her first ever bags. Really lovely patchwork and a nice size for the beginnings of a blanket. Once it gets a bit bigger, it won't be in there for long. Have you all coped in this heat? It's been, yeah, too hot for me. So here's the other blanket that I've started. This is a gift for a friend. I've made this friend lots of blankets when she's requested them for babies, so I've made her lots of gifts to pass on. But this is for her. She's got a new bedroom and she's got lovely new bedding which matched these colours, or I matched the colours to her bedding. Greens and pinks and creams. And this is Attic 24's cozy blanket, is that what it's called? Yeah, cozy stripe crochet blanket. in Stylecraft Special DK. I've used some colours I've never come across before. I think one colour is called Cypress, one of the greens, and one is called Lincoln. Yeah, it's better, isn't it? And I really love, if I'm making gifts like for bigger blankets, this is what I like. So I really like the holes. It seems to grow very quick. So I've done about 46 rows so far. And out of each of the yarns, there's still that amount left. So I don't know how, if that's nearly 50 and you want it double that, whether I'll do 100 stripes plus a border or a bit more. So I might need to buy 5 more balls of yarn, but I'm getting a lot of stripes out of those little 100 grams. Really lovely, isn't it? I really love those colours. So yeah, that's coming on nice, but it's been too hot to work on. I just can't bear, that's why I've probably done so many socks, because it's too hot. And I've got a new cast on, and this is a request from my daughter. She has wanted the Harry Styles cardigan, which I've sort of been dreading making, but since we bought the yarn, I've really enjoyed making it. So I'm using Stylecraft, but in their special chunky or Aran. Oh, in fact, I've got one chunky and one Aran, so I don't know if that's different. What's the chunky? Oh, the orange is the chunky. The others is Aran. And then I've got orange. So I don't know if anyone is aware of the Harry Styles cardigan. It was a cardigan he wore, which was created by J.W. Anderson, is it? Yeah, J.W. Anderson, and it's a free pattern. There was so much interest in it, and it's a knitted pattern, but other people have been doing it crochet, and each of the patches has got a different pattern. So this orange one is just garter, and the red one is like a slip stitch. Oh, it's hard to see, isn't it? The green one, look at that, isn't that lovely? Reverse bee stitch, I think that is. So at the minute and part of the style is having the ends poking out. I might trim them a bit shorter. So this will be the back. This is the first row. I'm making them a bit smaller. They suggest casting on 18 stitches and then knitting it for 14 centimetres, but I've just done 10 centimetres. It's really stretchy as well. My daughter's only 15, so I just thought, I know the look is to be quite big, but that would be absolutely massive on her. When you think that this is 3, there's still 3 more patches for the back. So it comes in, the suggested look of is in orange, red, green, yellow and black. Now the yellow is the only one we couldn't get in Aran, so I just got this is Dandelion in Stylecraft Special DK, and I'm going to hold 2 strands together. And then there's a button band which is in blue, and this is a Stylecraft colour I've never used before. It's in Cornish blue, so that looks nice. So it's really multicoloured. Yeah, she's really looking forward to having it, and I thought I would do the stripes and join as I go, because then it will make me feel like it's growing. And yeah, so that's it so far. I'm quite enjoying it. It's a really quick, easy to make a couple of squares, or a square if you fancy. So yeah, I'll keep you updated with the progress on that. So yeah, so that's all the sewing, the jumpers, the socks and the blankets. Like I said, at the minute I've got those 2 socks to finish, the Harry Styles cardigan, my friend's blanket, and I've got 2 other blankets on the go which I haven't worked on. One of them is the Yuletide, and one of them is Charlotte's Universe, isn't it? It's been so long since I've worked on it that I've forgotten what it's called. I think it's called Yeah, it is Charlotte's Universe. But I will get them finished because they're 2 blankets I want in the house, and we are heading for expensive bills, gas and electric, and I think everyone's trying to just use less and wrap up warm for the winter. So yeah, I definitely want to make those blankets. Yeah, so that's all my makes and works and things I've finished. I now want to have a quick chat about yarn. I've been to a yarn festival recently, and it was the new Summer Wool Festival, and this was to replace Fibre East. This is about half an hour from where I live, so fairly local, and I went with a friend and we had a really lovely time. So I treated myself to some yarn. The first one I found was this from Fruitful Fusion, and I really loved this. I was wearing my birthday dress at the time, which is pink and these kind of colours, and it almost like just matched so well. And this was in her bargain sort of sale bucket, probably only about £15. So yeah, so that's the first one. Superwash merino and nylon, fingering weight. So I haven't really got any idea what I'd make with it. Might make a shawl, but the fact that it sort of matched that dress, that's what sold it really. Really pretty, pinks with speckles. So that's the first one. The next one, I saw this when I went to the Waltham Abbey Wool Show with Ali from Little Drops of Wonderful, and I remember seeing this. So it's Snuggly Stars yarns, and when I went back to buy it, she'd sold out. So when I saw her at this festival, I just thought, I've got to buy it straight away. She dyes, she has a yarn that she dyes every year for her wedding anniversary, and this was her 3-year anniversary. So it's merino and nylon again, fingering weight. But isn't it pretty? Lovely sort of browns. So yeah, that'll probably be a nice pair of socks, but we'll see. But yeah, really nice to have seen her again, and then bought the yarn that I really fancied. And then this yarn I was really drawn to. I'd never seen this lady yarn dye before. Yarn Unique, and again this is yak sock. So it's 70% merino, superwash merino, 20% yak, 10% nylon, and it feels lovely. And again, it felt quite autumnal. I really love these kind of colours, this sort of natural beigey base, but with sort of fireworky colours, oranges and reds and blacks. That would be a nice shawl, or to go into a shawl. So yeah, so I bought those 3, really pleased with them. Then I came across a stall that was selling yarn to go with a pattern, and this was the yarn. There's not a label on it, but I know that it's Malabarigo. No, it's not. It's Manos del Uruguay Alegria, and it's merino and nylon. And this is dyed, I'm sure I've looked this up. There's, I'm not even going to say it because I'll probably get it wrong, but it's a real, oh, I probably should look it up. Let me look it up, because that's confused. It's making me annoyed that I don't know how to say it. If I just Manos del Uruguay. Oh, I'm sure I've read about Manos. Yes, I think it's about women supporting each other, forming a community. Yeah, as there's lack of opportunities of rural women at that time. Yeah, check it out. I will put a link below, because it's, it just felt like it was a good thing to do, to support these women. Oh, I've explained that rubbishly, but I'll definitely put a link below. So I saw the yarn and I just thought, oh, that's lovely. It's really squishy. And I felt like I recognised it. And then when I came home, I realised I had some already. So yeah, so I'm really pleased to have picked that up. 75% merino superwash and 25% polyamide. But it feels very, very plump. So I was really pleased because one skein is never big enough for me to make a shawl. And this is the shawl that came with it. It's called the Shadow Shawl. And again, it looks lovely. Can you see that lovely garter ridge? So yeah, I just thought that was perfect. I've already got one, I bought another, and then I can make a lovely, lovely shawl. And this looks like it's in the colour Carnival. But yeah, they had lots of other this brand of yarn with a free pattern to go with it. So that felt nice, supporting women, but knowing that I've got that yarn at home already. I also treated myself to a couple of patterns. I saw this is called the Frisky Shawl by Debonair, and it was being sold as a yarn pack with yarn, but I just thought, I've got loads of yarn, I'll just buy the pattern and support her in that way. I do love these kind of colours. I love the blue. It is a bit like that blue jumper I've made. But I'm just going to sneeze. Bless me. So yeah, I've just thought I'm going to buy the pattern, and I've got lots of yarn I could use for that. And I also wanted to support my friend Helen from Woolly Chic. She has designed, I don't know if you can see that, a really pretty pattern. And it's got a lovely lace section. Just see if you can see there, that might be an easier. Yeah, so I quite like to make some short sleeved tops that you can either wear something underneath. I'll show you this picture here. I'll give you a really, isn't that lovely, that lace? And this is in her heart spun yarn. I've talked about that before, but again, I've got lots of yarn I could use for that, but I was really keen to buy that top as well. And then my monthly subscription that I've been getting all year from Beehive Yarns, and this is her Enchanted yarn club. So this was the inspirational photo, and this is the yarn. Really good match. Look at that orange and the blue. And I've gone for the DK Dolly. So it's 100% extra fine superwash merino DK. And again, so far I've got a little collection of these from all year, which I don't know what I'm going to do with yet, but I just, yeah, really, really pleased. I'm just waiting on the July and the August, because my July one got lost in the post for some reason, so I'll show you them next time. Yeah, and I love her little label. So yeah, perfect. They've been perfect, every single one, so I'm really pleased with that. So yeah, I think that is all of the yarn and the things that I've been making. And the last thing to chat about is the books that I've been reading. I've read 2 books. I always feel like I need to get yeah, in fact, let me have a look. So I'm also on Goodreads, I don't know if anyone else is, where I'd also do a little review of my books. So let me just dig that up. My books. Oh, I don't think I've put it on there. Anyway, I'll show you. So, I've read this, Kate Atkinson, Life After Life. A friend lent me this, or gave it to me. And I've heard about Kate Atkinson. I've never read her books before, but it was fantastic. It's quite a chunky book. It's a book about a girl who I don't know how to say it without giving too much away. The thing when I read this book is I was struggling initially to work out what was happening, but similarly to the Midnight Library that I read before, this girl in the story, her name is Ursula, she has many lives, and I think she's not necessarily aware of it initially, that's what's happening to her. So on the back here it's described that during a snowstorm in England in 1910, a baby is born and dies before she takes her first breath. So that was almost like the first chapter. And then the next part was, during a snowstorm in England in 1910, the same baby is born and lives to tell the tale. And that's what the story is about. Throughout her whole life, similar things happen. And she sort of starts again. And it's all around World War I and World War II, and it was really, really, really good. I loved it. So I've just put here, Ursula's lives during World War II. I really enjoyed the book, want to read more of her novels. So yeah, I'd really recommend that. It was really, really good. I don't know why I've not got that on my Goodreads list. I have to rectify that. And the next one I read was this, Victoria Hislop, The Island. I feel like I've seen this book around for a long time. Hold on, go back to this one. This has been a programme on BBC iPlayer, I think. So it's like a series. So I saw someone on Instagram had mentioned it, that in the book, in the series, they show people knitting, and they sort of took a picture of that scene. So I must go back and look, but there's only about 4 episodes, I think, and this is a very big book, so I don't know how they can condense it into such a small series, but yeah, check that out as well maybe. But the book was really lovely. I'm just trying to see when the book was written, 2013, so it's about 9 years old, but I'd never heard of Kate Atkinson until I read this book. The same with this, Victoria Hislop. She is married to Ian Hislop from Have I Got News For You, if anyone watches that in the UK. And she's a really great author. This book was written in 2005, or first published in 2005. So it's called The Island. Oh, and this was lovely. I really, really loved this book. It's a family drama, and you know I really love a family drama, based in Crete. And it's about this island separated from Crete, where people with leprosy have to go and live. It was really moving. It was really well written. Yeah, I really, really loved it. And again, I want to read more of her books. So yeah, I would really recommend this. And I looked it up afterwards, and this particular island, this leprosy island, is a real place. That is what happened. So I love things that are based on true parts of history as well. So yeah, check out Victoria Hislop, The Island. And anyone that's interested in those Richard and Judy, they recommend books. It was the summer read winner at the time. Yeah, so they're the books that I've read. Okay, I think that's probably it. I feel like I had lots to show you, mainly because it's been since June, so a lot's been happening. But I feel like I've finished lots of things, and apart from those long-term blankets, which will take a while, I'm sure next time there'll be some new makes on the needles or on the hooks. But I'm really making an effort to use up my yarn, and I've got lots of other patterns I've bought as well recently, so I'm quite excited to start something new as well. So yeah, hope you're all okay, and hopefully I'll be back in September. Okay, take care, see you soon.